and WhatsApp. Strictly text messages and WhatsApp. As I said, it's the All Women Affair Tuesday, and I'm in the esteemed company of 3 formidable women from various political fields. And in no particular order, I'll introduce the lady on my extreme end. She's in the person of Lily ACHIAA, and she's the MPP COM team member from the New Patriotic Party. Good morning, Lily.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah, very well.
How do you feel being here?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thank
you. Let me move on to my next guest. She's in the person of Professor Benedicta Iyayerafosu-Mensah. It's been a long time, Prof. Where have you been? You're busy being a professor.
I did a couple of traveling here and there, and so that's why it's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Yeah, good to be on your show.
Thank you, thank you. She is a member of the NDC communications team, and the one and only AGYEKUM, the one and only Pan-Africa's one and I mean, if you enter Pan-African TV and you mention AGYEKUM, we don't have to second guess. It's one and it's final. It's conclusive. AGYEKUM Hamdatu, leading member of the CPP. Good morning, AGYEKUM.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Now, this morning, there are several topics for conversation, and we're going to begin with our African story, which happens to be that Nigeria has charged protesters with treason, inciting military. Also, government moves to avert effects of imminent, potentially catastrophic drought. And we'll also be looking at Ghana's democracy in danger because of EC's autocratic posture. This was asserted by Kofi Bentil. We're going to touch on all that. So if you have any concerns, any submissions, kindly forward that to 0559 919 802 0559 919 802. Welcome once again to the show. Let's get right into our conversation. We begin with our Nigerian story. Now, we have all heard about the heat and the mayhem that is occurring in Nigeria. Now, for context, I'm going to read a background to this very story. It says, Nigeria charges protesters with treason, inciting military. Nigeria has charged 10 people with treason and conspiring to incite the military to unity following last month's nationwide demonstrations that saw thousands take the streets to protest against the cost of living crisis. The protests were met with a deadly crackdown by security forces, and Amnesty International said at least 13 people were killed. Security forces denied using lethal force. The 10 men were arraigned in the Abuja Federal High Court and entered a not guilty plea. They face the death penalty if convicted, human rights lawyer has said. State prosecutors said in court, papers seen by Reuters, that the protesters indeed or intended to destabilize Nigeria and conspire together to commit felony with treason. Now, we have a background to this story, but my question will be this morning that should this be the government's approach to civil unrest? AGYEKUM, I start with you.
Yes, good morning to you, and then good morning to my co-panelist here. As for Prof, she has run away for some time. I think first time meeting the MPP lady here. And good morning to our cherished viewers out there. Before I come to the Nigerian issue, OHEMAA, permit me to tell the good people of Ghana that the CPP, we are going to Congress tomorrow to elect our flag bearer. Some people are saying it's late. The party is already organized, so if it's anything at all, it's just a matter of getting our flag bearer tomorrow, and then we'll hit the ground running. So I wish all the contestants well. We have lawyer Frimpong Anochi as number 1 and Anahima number 2. So tomorrow we are going to vote, and we are going to vote with our conscience. We are going to vote for the upliftment of the Convention People's Party. We are going to vote for someone who will really campaign in such a way that it will resonate with the people who believe in compromising. Thank you very much.
AGYEKUM, the location, where is it happening?
Oh, we are doing it nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide, regional base, because of time factor, yes. And you know, We've been in position for 40 years, so money-wise, it will be difficult for us to congregate at this line.
Perhaps the NPP and the NDC can come to your rescue.
Oh,
financial.
No, the issue is that if there's no free lunch, you
have to pay for it.
No, there's no free lunch. There's no free lunch. So let's endure.
Yeah.
We'll sail through.
You'll be fine.
We've been able to raise money through the filing fee and other things. We had some challenges because somebody was trying to take the matter to court, or maybe he has taken the matter to court. But I think in his own interest, I think he has been advised not to take that course. Because the way I meant to address it, the issue today, last night I was called to and told that the matters are being settled, so I won't go that way. I'll just leave it as it is. Coming to the Nigerian issue, you asked whether is that the best way to treat a civil issue. I don't think it is, because looking at the vast nation like Nigeria, it's a very huge country. And if you look at what happened in Nigeria previously, even when Sarah, or something, one of the activists in Nigeria was killed during, is it the apartheid time? You saw the unrest. So for me, if there are, even though I was not happy with some of the way the protesters were, in Ghana we demonstrate, where you don't go and be looting people's shops. No, it has never happened in Ghana. Ghana we do demonstration. Come prekon, we me prekon, kabon prekon, all. But you don't see us going to loot shops. Now, if you are going to loot a shop because you are hungry, it is not justification at all. So I think in order not to cause more unrest in Nigeria, the matter needs to be looked at properly. And because if you are charged with treason, the penalty is death.
Yeah.
But do you think that is the best way to go? And if they are saying they've cited some documents that maybe will really affect that kind of punishment, I don't think I will subscribe to that, because if it's anything at all, 10 lives, executing 10 lives because maybe for causing some, maybe inciting the soldiers and what have you. In this country, people are telling us things. The soldiers are this. People go to bed free. So I think in this democracy that we are all practicing in Africa, we should learn properly. In advanced world, presidents are even hooted that they will take a shoe, and look at what happened to this man, this American man. He was slapped. You can even see that, which means the security was even loose. But that doesn't mean that we should also promote indiscipline. Indiscipline should be corrected, but the correction must be a form of correction, instead of us saying because maybe something happened, we're going to kill 10 people because of the law. The laws, we made the laws. And we can also look at the law and see at the material moment that we want to implement the law, what is the atmosphere of the country? What will happen when maybe we even kill one person? What will happen? Will the unrest continue, or people will come back into submission? You have to look at the temperature, the atmosphere of your country in order not to escalate already the uncertainty that is in your country. So that's what I'll say. I'm against maybe killing because people demonstrated, or maybe people are suspected of causing treason. No, I'm not for death penalty. No, I'm not for it.
Sure. Prof, let me come to you. When we take a look at Nigeria, population-wise, Nigeria is blessed with a lot of people. The population is skyrocketing day in, day out. And if when you even take Lagos as a city, comparative to Ghana, they are more than us, just one city, more than the people of Ghana. And the hardship that bedevil them perhaps are unable to be contained by the people, and so through unbridled emotions they protest with emotions, right? Displeasure, and you see let me say characteristics of indiscipline in there. Don't you think that it was the duty of the military to put that in check, rather than attacking them in the way they did, and also citing a few of them for this high crime of treason.
Okay, thank you, OHEMAA. Good morning to my co-panelists and to our cherished viewers. The issue about, or the issue of Nigeria and the people being charged with treason, for me, it just again show bad governance when it comes to Africa. We've seen over the years issue of people going on demonstration or on route, and even some coup attempts. We've seen that of Mali and Burkina Faso recently. This just shows the level of bad governance when it comes to Africa. What are the people asking for? Or why did they go on demonstration? They're just talking about high cost of living. And why are we having high cost of living in Africa, or specifically in Nigeria? It's because of certain bad decisions that leaders take. For me, I think that the issue of charging individual of treason would just escalate the issue. What the president, and for that matter, the leaders should do is trying to solve the problem or the reason why the individuals are going on demonstration, providing the basic necessity of life, which is food, water, medication, education, and I mean, these are basic things that, you know, every leader should provide for its citizen. And so trying to clamp down on the people or charging some individual with treason, trying to, you know, punish them would only escalate the problem. What I will suggest that the president, you know, and for that matter the leaders do, is to emulate that of the Kenyan president when the people went on demonstration because of certain decisions. What did he do? He did, I mean, he acted on whatever the demand was, you know, and that brought some level of peace within the country. And so trying to clamp down on your citizen when you are, I mean, taking decisions that, you know, put them in very difficult situation, or instead of, you know, working to better their life, you rather, you know, put a lot of hardship on them. That is not the way to go. And so I will say that, yes, of course, the individual, if you are going on demonstration, it shouldn't be demonstration that should, you know, cause chaos, destruction of property. But nevertheless, two wrongs do not make right. And so the government, I think, should not try to punish this individual, but rather bring people to the table, discuss issues. I believe that if there are leaders of various groups that might have led these demonstrators, it would be nice to bring these people right to the table to talk with them, have national dialogue, bring out issues, and let them discuss how to solve the problem, than just trying to, you know, use these tactics of intimidating people, trying to suppress the freedom of people. That would not work, especially when you push people to the wall. There's nothing they can do than to, you know, push back.
I was going to come to that don't you think the government is using this to deter future protests? Because, as you said, bad governance. Every government who knows that they are not doing the right thing fear accountability. And so this perhaps is to serve as a deterrent to anybody who has planned in the future to protest or question the government and its exercise of authority or power.
Exactly. Sometimes those are some of the tactics that, you know, you have to put some fear in them so that they will not come out. But you see, look at the Kenyan case. I mean, I witnessed a young man who was sent to court for leading a demonstration, and the guy exhibited the fact that he was not afraid to go to jail, and he was prepared to fight for the youth, fight for his country. That just tells you
the level or the extent to which these young guys have been pushed to the wall. So for me, I think that threatening individual in times of hardship, in times of difficulty, is not the way to go, because when you push them to the wall, they have no choice than to push back. And when it gets to that level, people are not even afraid to die.
Right.
And that becomes very dangerous.
Right.
So I think what the government of Nigeria is doing is say, no, no, no. They should not even do that. That will just escalate the issue. And of course, this should also be warning to other countries or other presidents that, look, we are all feeling the pinch. And so trying to suppress the will of the people, trying to, suppress the speech of, freedom of speech is not the way to go, because when you push people to the wall, when their back is on the wall, they have no choice than to push back. And they will have no hiding place, just like the Kenyan president, had to rescind his decision on some of the policies that he took that was going to worsen the lives of the people. So I think that as Africans, sometimes one wonders why we should be going through what we are going through, because we are blessed with so much natural resources, and yet African is always the poorest. When you witness or when you watch Al Jazeera or CNN, anything about Africa is about poverty, it's about suffering, it's about people, yes. Why should it be so? This is a continent that is blessed with so much resources, yet we have foreigners coming in and they are taking rather the natural resources and leaving us poorer and poorer. It is so sad. And I think it is high time that African leaders rise to the occasion to make sure that they improve the lives of their citizens, instead of coming to just enrich themselves and leave majority or the masses to suffer.
All right, thank you, Prof. Lily, do you agree with Prof. Nadia on this subject?
Yes, of course, I do. And let me greet our cherished viewers and listeners this morning. Yes, the case of Nigeria, just as you stated it, all goes down to economic hardship, right? And what is government doing about it? You see, is all what I see, and to add to what Prof. and Haji has said, is about building confidence as a government. Now you have citizens and they are feeling the heat. As a government, what is your take? You have to come out, let the citizens know the reason why things are going bad. It calls for transparency. And if I may ask, did the Nigerian government did that to the citizenry, to let them know the state of which the economy of which Nigeria is? Did they do that? But the unfortunate thing is, in as much as the protesters went beyond what they did, we all condemn the actions. We have the right to protest. And I believe that when you are protesting, you have the security also supporting, because they will serve as a guide. So what also triggered that the protesters went beyond their actions? You see, so these are some of the things that we are all picking from. That is not a good news, and I believe that if they have in the 21st century, there are some laws that needs to be revised. And so if you think that treason is the best way, and therefore we have to, or death penalty, and therefore we have to use some people as a steady or a threat to others, has the problem been solved, of which the citizens are calling for, hasn't been solved? Yes, so government should come out, Nigerian government should come out, talk to the people. And I believe that they have ways to also address such issues. If they have faulted, and there's other way of which they can be penalized, or they can do that. But to really call for treason is very bad. Because fine, you think it will serve as a threat, but believe, what about the masses there? Still, they will come out. They'll still come out to protest. So Nigerian government should come out. Let the citizenry know the state of their economy and what are the measures they are to implement to curb those challenges they are facing. I think that one will bring that self-confidence, that transparency that the people are looking for. And then, as we're saying, it goes to all African states, our leaders. In as much as there are issues, there are challenges, we need to be proactive. We have to talk to our people, let them know the situation at hand, so that things wouldn't escalate to cause a very big havoc. because it affects Nigeria, definitely it will affect Ghana and the neighboring countries. And what is it in the international world, the regional world? Already African, West Africa, we are still having some crisis, you know. So we need not to include exactly. They have their right to protest, but maybe the way of it they did was wrong. But government should sit down, talk to the people.
But I think are these not some of the, should I say, the expectation when it comes to protesting? As I through to Prof, that people become emotional, especially when the government isn't responsive, as you rightly said. It's not coming out to say that, look, this is what we are going through, this is what is causing A, this is what is affecting B, and so just exercise a little patience and, you know, repose that confidence in the people and vice versa.
Yes.
So if these things happen, shouldn't the governments themselves hold themselves accountable to say they caused the, you know, outburst of that rage whatsoever from the citizenry?
Yeah, so that's why I'm making a point that it's cause for public trust. So government should come out. You know, public engagement is very key. No matter the situation, the people are giving you the mandate to lead them. So if you think there are some challenges, crises you are going through, be open to the people. And if you look at the position or their reason that they are giving, talking about the depreciation of the naira, it's very bad. You know, things are hard in their economy. So as a government, what are the measures that you have in place so that your citizenry will be better off? You see, so you come out, you let them know the challenges. So if you think there are things that are way beyond you, let them know. So it wouldn't even, they will protest, but knowing the reasons that you've enumerated, they would accept, though they might feel the hate. And sometimes, again, what I see is that the way government appointees also behave. Because in as much as the citizen majority are complaining about hardship, what about you? You are the leaders. What are your behavior towards them? Are you responsive to them? You know, do you feel the heat? They are also feeling it. So these are some of the things that I think the checklist that they have to, as Nigerian government should look at it and their leaders should look at it, to bring confidence to the people, because at the end they gave you the mandate to lead them because they trusted in you that you're going to help to make their life living well. But if it's not so, come out and let them know the issue, so that they can also see reason with you as a government why we are facing challenge A, B, C, D in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lily.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. If you're just joining, this is still the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television on the Good Morning Africa show. Now, our panelists have made their point on our African story. Let me read yours from on WhatsApp. This one's coming through, says, good morning, Pan-Africa, MPP show here. Please, I think this is just an appeal to you that whenever we are discussing the African stories, please do well to also contribute in that regard. It's like we are discussing African stories and the conversation from our viewers is also coming from, you know, all angles. But thank you. We appreciate your participation. Says, good morning, Africa. NPP should bear in mind that a dead fowl is still a dead, even in thousands of lives surrounds it. EC can never save from going to opposition. All right, I think we're going to have the EC discussion ahead of the show, but unfortunately, Prof will have to excuse us in a few minutes. So let's just go straight to our second topic, so that I will put her on first before she runs away and we'll not see her in a long time again. Prof, we hope to see you in the coming days. All right, so our second topic is that government moves to avert effects of imminent, potentially catastrophic drought. Potentially catastrophic is the word. Potentially catastrophic. Ghana cannot afford to go hungry, because when you look at Ghana, we are blessed with natural resources, agriculture, food, and a lot of things. Now, government is saying that they are putting in effort to avert the effect of potentially catastrophic drought. Prof, let me take it from you first, before we move on.
Well, I'm just surprised that Ghana seems to be panicking. And I can see the panic from the minister's submission and even from the general public discussion as far as this drought is concerned. For me, the minister's suggestions that they are taking or they are making some moves to prevent some
potentially catastrophic drought.
It just shows the level of failure of this government. It is just a confirmation that this government have failed themselves and have failed Ghanaians. The issue is what happened to the planting for food and jobs. If you are talking about food security, we are not just talking about people being able to get food on a particular day. We are talking about people having food at all times. The essence of planting for food and jobs is to make sure that our reserve is enough to take care of us, to make sure that the country is food secure. What happened? We've seen the price of food escalating uncontrollably. We have witnessed people being pushed down poverty line, around 850,000 people pushed down poverty line when this regime came to power. Again, we talked about one village, one dam. What is the essence of the dam? The essence of the dam is to provide water during dry season or when we have drought. Why should farmers be lamenting that there is drought if this government had honored their promise by providing dam? You see, what this government has done over the years is to deceive Ghanaians. But you see, reality is like pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant and the woman denies that she is not pregnant, it's just a matter of time. The pregnancy will come out and she'll be exposed. And that is exactly what has happened to this government. They went round, oh, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. We've constructed dams. There are water everywhere. Where are the dams? Why are farmers not using the water in the dams to irrigate their farm? And now they are lamenting of drought. The minister herself came and said she constructed a dam that cost 250,000 Ghana cedis, and she added 250,000. What meaningful dam can it construct?
AGYEKUM, the minister.
The minister, AGYEKUM. So this is just waste of public funds because you have constructed dugouts that could not hold water, and that is what we refer to as financial loss or financial cost to the
state.
To the state. And this individual must pay for some of this action. Why would you not use the money available? If it is just 2 dams, it can construct. Why would you not construct 2 meaningful dams that farmers can use? You have decided to go around constructing dugouts that these dugouts could not hold water. At the time when they were constructing the dams were being washed away. Today we are talking about drought. Farmers' crops are dying or have withered. They are unable to irrigate because there's no water. Yet we have in the records that they've constructed, they always throw figures out there. We've constructed 1,000 dams. We've constructed this. Where are the dams? Why are farmers not using these dams? Again, some of the farmers have come out to say that one of the reasons why they are having these challenges as far as food security is concerned is also because there are no inputs. The time farmers were in need of fertilizers, there were no fertilizers in the country. In fact, when government managed and got some fertilizer, we had a number of individuals who were alleged to have smuggled those fertilizers to neighboring country and sold them. Here we are talking about going to take billions of Ghana cedis to share to individual because we are in an election year. So what happened to the people who were always affected when the Bagre Dam is open? What happened to those individuals? Over the years, these individuals have never been compensated. The lower water people, there are people who are still intent. Governments have closed their eyes to these individuals. They will not support these individuals. They did not compensate these individuals. Now, 3 months to an election, they are trying to get money to go and buy votes by saying they are going to distribute money to farmers. If there is hunger or there's famine in the country, is it only farmers that will be affected? Are they the only people? I don't think so. So if you are saying that yes, farmers have suffered because they planted and the crops have withered, and so you are going to give them 1,000 Ghana cedis per acre, what would that do to these farmers? 1,000 cedis today is like 100 Ghana cedis. So this is just a failure and a confirmation that this government have failed woefully, and they are trying to buy votes by going to distribute money. And I can assure you, should this happen, half of these money again, just like the COVID fund, will go to some individual pockets. And all of us, at the end of the day, will be taxed to pay back this money. Just like the water that was distributed during the COVID time. Say free water, and every time, oh, this government is so good. They gave us free water during COVID. They gave us free electricity, just for them to turn around to collect this money. Up to date, we are paying for COVID fund or COVID levy after the world have declared that there's no COVID. For me, this attempt is just another move to loot the public coffers, another move to buy votes. We have seen over the years how government have tried to buy the vote of individual by paying individual as much as 200 Ghana cedis in a general election to win their vote. This is unacceptable. I think this is just an attempt again to rip Ghanaians of their funds, and instead of government thinking of sharing money to individuals, they should rather take steps to correct their wrongs. The dams they have, or the dugout they have done, they should rather think about ways by which they can try to rather rehabilitate or try to do the right thing by going to construct better dams that will hold water, that farmers can use this water to irrigate their crop. We are talking about climate change. And the only way that we can reduce the impact of climate change from projection shows that we have to go the irrigation way. And how do we go irrigation way? It's to construct dam. It's to come out with drought-resistant variety. If government takes steps to carry out these measures, I believe that if there is drought, farmers will not be crying because they have water to irrigate their farm. If there is drought, Ghanaians will not be crying because probably we have enough food at our, at the buffer stock. But if we are living from hand to mouth, as we are doing currently, what happened? If we have 3-month drought, everybody is crying. I can imagine what is happening to the prices of grains and tubers and foodstuff in general in the market, because we can see that there's a lot of panic. For the first time during dry season, at the time when farmers are harvesting crops, you are buying a bag of maize at the farm gate at 850 Ghana cedis per sack. This is unprecedented. 2016, these things were going for 75. During the lean season, you will buy it around 150 Ghana cedis. We are in the harvesting season. At the farm gate, 850 Ghana cedis. You can imagine, by the time it gets to Accra, and by the time it gets to that Kenke sellers, pot and come out, how much you are going to buy a bowl of Kenke. So this government has failed, just as Mahmoud Bawumia said. You can do all the gymnastics, but the exchange rate will expose you the same way. They can do all the propaganda, but the reality of the people will expose them. And this drought has exposed them big time, but they will not use the drought as a yardstick to once again loot our money, to once again take public funds to share to individuals.
But because then the concern of they looting money, or the government supposedly looting money through this means of trying to compensate farmers, I'm not sure what the compensation is for, because 1,000 Ghana cedis per acre of land, I'm not sure if it's to buy water and irrigate the farms. But do you think it also has to do with timing? Because you're saying that because we are heading towards election is a way of buying votes, among other things, or drawing the attention of the electorate to this ruling party. Do you think it has to do with timing? And if it had happened perhaps a year ago or 2 years ago, this wouldn't have been the conversation?
Yeah, we are talking about likely food insecurity because of drought. And you are saying that you are going to distribute money to farmers. What is the essence of the money? Is it to buy food? I think I heard him also mention the fact that they will give input to farmers in a dry season or during drought to do what with the inputs. The time the farmers needed this input, the inputs were not available. Why do they think that if there's hunger or there's famine, it's only farmers that will be affected? What about us? Are we all not going to the same markets? The farmers, would they also go to the same market? Why do they think that the farmers are the only people that need support? What about the most vulnerable in our society? What about people like the lower water people that were affected by the spillage from Akosobo Dam? What about them? People who have lost everything they've ever worked for. What about those who were affected by the domestic exchange program, that the money they saved, they just watch everything being taken away from them. Even medication, they cannot buy their medication. What about them? Now they have to go to the same market that these farmers will go to buy food. What about them? So for me, the government should come again. Now they are talking about going to support farming. How many farmers are they talking about? We don't know. They are talking about acres. How many acres? You know, this government is very good at throwing figures. And we've witnessed over the years how they've thrown a lot of figures out there just for it to turn out not to be true. I have seen, for example, road construction that was done by this government. When you are coming from Volo area towards Akuse, I witnessed a situation where they will construct a road like, let's say 5 kilometers, leave the next 5 kilometers not worked on, not touched, and then continue from another area. Go leave a vast stretch and continue again. And when they are calculating the number of kilometers they've constructed, they lump everything together and tell us that they've constructed.
What's the reason for that?
And yes, in fact, I used and I was like, why are these people constructing the road like that? That you are constructing a road. Instead of constructing continuously, they will construct, leave some portion, continue, and then leave another portion and go and
Has there been an explanation to that?
I mean,
our road is like that.
There cannot be any reason but to just deceive us. And you know, the number of kilometers of road they said they've constructed, when they did the it looks like the estimation is like from Ghana to China. If we have that length of road constructed, why are we not seeing the road? And they will tell us that we should open our eyes. This government, for me, is just a move to again take the little money that is left to buy food. It's unacceptable. A government does not do this kind of fire service approach to situation or to problems, what you need to do is to have a long-term plan. And the long-term plan is to construct dam as they, initially, came up with, which was a good policy. Yes, if you're able to construct dam in every village, it's a plus. It's good. It means that we have water throughout, and farmers can, farm throughout the year. But you see, they're all just planned to deceive us. It's just a matter of time. The drought has come. Where are the water? My sister, the dam people have constructed. Now we need the water to irrigate our farm. Where is the water now? And now they are talking about going to distribute 1,000. What will 1,000 do to a Ghanaian in this present hardship and difficult moment? So for me, it's a no-go area. They should just leave the small money that we have in our coffers, so that come December 7th, when they leave, at least NDC can use that to, reset Ghana and get things moving instead of trying to dissipate everything. I don't think it's an avenue for individual again to share money just as they did for the COVID fund. So I would say no to the government. As a government, you should rather put measures in place to solve problem permanently, but not solve problem using fire service approach by going to share money during drought. But that'll fix the problem by making inputs available, by constructing dam, by making sure that our researchers come out with drought-resistant variety, come out with high-yielding variety, make sure that, the things that are needed to help farmers cultivate their field is done. Today, look at cocoa. Cocoa is sold at 7,000. I was listening to news this morning, 7,000 something Ghana cedis. But yes, Ghana, we do not have cocoa. In fact, even if we have cocoa, we cannot go to the market with that price because we've already taken the money and have spent it. And we cannot even supply cocoa because we have failed to maintain the cocoa sector. And that is the approach this government has done. They have always deceived us. Using tactics, the educational system, free SHS, deceived us. Look at it. My children are on vacation, and I pay so much for them to go for extra classes. So if we say free, what is free? So I think that sometimes we need to be sincere to the people that we govern, the people that we lead. It's not just enough to deceive and deceive and deceive. Because when you deceive people, it comes to a point where it becomes very difficult for them to trust you. And that is the suffering or the challenge the flag bearer of NPP is going through now. The last time he was asked that people say that you are a liar. Surprisingly, the answer he gave, I was so shocked. And the journalists even in the room were just looking at each other. And I'm sure the kind of question they were asking each other, that, why would this man say? He said what? I even thank God that I'm not called a murderer or a drug addict like my boss. I think that as a country, there's time to be sincere to ourselves. And this government has done us a lot of harm by some of their policies, by some of their deceit. And this drought is just one that have exposed them big time. Right. We should have a lot of food now and not be reacting in a panic way.
Right. Thank you so much, Prof. Extensively said. I'm going to come to AGYEKUM and Lillian, but let me read a few WhatsApp messages. This one says, the EC is saying that mistakes are bound to be made in every human institution. My question to them is, for how long will they continue making those perceived mistakes if they are not irresponsible or dishonest? Asanko, Santa Maria. Also, do members of the EC listen to themselves when they speak? Question mark. How could they describe a register as robust and still talk about correcting errors in it? Their hidden agenda would always be exposed. Asanko again from Santa Maria. Let's take a few more messages. Says, good morning, OHEMAA. What the panelist in the middle was talking about regarding the roads from Japan through Volo to Adidome is very true. Part of the roads are tarred piece. Kofiga from Bato. Okay, so Prof, you have a witness here concerning the state of the road in the areas you mentioned. Let me take this one from Ken William. He says, hi host, EC has become a nuisance and liability to the state and must be disbanded because they are the biggest threat to free, fair and peaceful elections in Ghana. We can no longer accept the fraudulent manipulation of the electoral register under the guise of human errors. We have enough of comedy errors at the EC, and we cannot believe the infrastructure of Jane Mensa and as mere irregularities because garage and in, garage out, garage in and garage out. That's what he means. Pawili, University of Ghana. So keep sending in your messages and I'll be reading them. Thank you for always choosing us and being a part of our conversations. AGYEKUM, to you.
Yes. I think droughts are a natural disaster. Nobody can prevent it. But in so doing, when it happens, what can we do to remedy the situation? That is what we should be looking at. And we are talking about what the government plans to do. The government has put in place insurance. They want to insure the farmers. And then they also want to ban importation of certain, is it exportation or importation?
Exportation of grains.
Of grains. And then the farmers, some of them are complaining. So I will just ask a simple question. What went into that decision? Because even if they were drought, by all means, they were able to salvage certain amount of the grains from their farms. And they intend to rather export and get some money, but the government is saying no. So what measures is government putting in place to sort of buy those grains at a price that the farmers too will be what? Comfortable. So I think we are not privy to maybe any information whether the farmers were consulted before even the ban, because at least there must be some stakeholder engagement for people to really understand whether you are doing it in the best interest of the country because of what we found ourselves in. And then I saw something like 10,000 Ghana per hectare. To the 1,000 Ghana per hectare is to recultivate the land. But recultivation comes when maybe the land is ready to be cultivated. So I think stakeholders consultation is very, very important when it comes to things like this. But I think it is a good move to sort of help the farmers. I know Ghanaians, all of us are going to the market, we buy goods, but it's the farmers who produce the food. So if they're not able to produce, then it will rather be higher than maybe what we expect. And I'm not sure it is all part of the country that were affected. I think mostly it's in the northern part of this country. I was born and bred in Bolgatanga. Anytime, even as of yesterday, it was raining in Bolga. So they were like, why is the rain not raining where the farms are? But then I said, God does his things in a way that he wants. He doesn't listen to us. But you see, those in charge of Metro, if you look at the narration, that now there will be collaboration, so which means there was no collaboration between them and the Metro to really give us a proper or accurate forecast, whereby we'll know that this time is good, this time is not good. And then now the government is saying that that will be done, and then they will get crops that are resistant to drought. But I think since Ghana, that can happen, like the 83 incident, at least we should have that in mind, that this can happen. So we should have been thinking of even getting seeds that are very fertile, that they can stand the drought. But we are not thinking about that. It's not too late, because I think we shouldn't be looking at the things that the government wants to do because it's an election year. Because that is what I've got from the opposing side, like them saying that they are not sure whether the government will really give the incentive and the money's promised to the farmers. One, we don't know. We are just commenting on what we've read. We don't know whether they have the data of the farmers who are affected. And I'm sure without the data, the government couldn't have come out to say that 1 hectare will be given 1,000 Ghana cedi to restore whatever is lost there. So I think this is the time. Even if we are not part of government, we should be proactive and really know. We should ask questions. We ask the government, how many farmers are affected? How many farmers are going to benefit from this? So if they say that's 1,000, but there must be a data, and then we'll be able to know. In Nkranza, in Bichartanga, in Bimbila, these are the farmers that were able to be registered under the people who were affected by the drought, the farmers. So I think if you do things in a transparent manner, open manner, with consultation with all stakeholders, all this wahala will not happen. Because whether we like it or not, they are Ghanaians, they are farmers, they need help. So are we going to say because we think that it will not get to them, we should say no to it?
No, but AGYEKUM, if it had been but for, let me just put it this way, but for the drought that has, surfaced, will the government implement such an intervention in helping farmers? And it beggars believe that if the drought is going to affect the country as a whole, it's going to, cause food insecurity. Is 1,000 Ghana cedis the answer to the problem?
No, 1,000 Ghana cedis is not just for a person. Take 1,000. What I read, that per hectare, and what they are going to do with it, we have to ask. What is the 1,000 Ghana cedis mean? I think it's in the story. I forgot. It is to recultivate the land. So
with water.
With water. And then you see, if you're talking about one dam, I'm not holding brief for anybody, but let's be very realistic and be objective. One dam, one village, one dam. The dam cannot irrigate a farm like 10 acres of maize farm. No. It cannot. The one dam, one village, one dam, she's from the government, maybe she can explain for her. I grew up in the north. We had Tono irrigation dam. We had McLean dam, and then Tono, McLean, and then there's another one. Most of the time when it is dry, because in the north like this, one rainy season, unlike the south. And that is where we get the vegetables. You see, they use it to sort of water their vegetables around the McLean Dam, around the Tono irrigation. So I think when analyzing or comparing things, we have to be very, very careful. When you talk about drought-resistant crops, I'll go for it. Because even whether drought or no drought, those crops are resistant to the drought. So that is why we have to challenge the government into helping the farmers. That is what the government too has said, that this is what we are going to do for the farmers. So let's not think that it will not happen, because I'm very, very optimistic. Because if it doesn't happen, it will rather worsen the situation and the government will look rather bad. Because if you come and tell the good people of Ghana that this is the amount I'm going to give to farmers, and then the farmers come out that, oh, I have 10 acres, but they gave me all 1,000 Ghana cedis.
We've heard several stories.
You see,
in that regard.
So for me, I'm being optimistic because of the way food prices are going up. Food prices, whether we like it or not, is going up. Especially the main ones, rice and then maize. Every house in this country will eat rice and then maize. So what can the government, because it is not me or OHEMAA or maybe any individual like the MPP communicator sitting, please, your name again? Lillian, sorry, I didn't get the name. That will do. That is why we entrust our destiny into the government of the day. So what is the government doing? If the government has come out with certain measures, let's make sure that they do it. Not like maybe another promise, because maybe it's an election year. We have to be, when you look at both sides, we have to be very, very objective. For me, the farms that were shown some time ago on the television, you could see the pain in the faces of the farmers, because some of them went for loans, to go into agriculture. And my party believes in industrialization, and it goes in tandem with agriculture. So therefore, when agri fails, by all means, industry will fail. Majority of the industry, because if we are talking about not importing or exporting, most of the items that we import, what can we do as a country to produce it locally in such a way that we will not be using our money changing dollars? That is why the dollars would keep on rising. Because if we can produce our own rice, our own maize, our own tomatoes, cabbage and what have you, we wouldn't use our money to change safer or dollars to import it. Import substitution. What is the government doing about it? So we have to be strategic and be very, very objective, because we are in a crisis, whether we like it or not. The OHEMAA, I went to Kofredia the weekend, and I saw tomatoes. They have some nice tomatoes. I don't know the variety, because I know Navrongo, I know Akumadan tomatoes, but the one that I saw in the eastern region
looks different.
Look different and very huge. With somebody will say you see. So I was like, I packed and then decided to buy the tomatoes, and then they were telling me this thing is 70 cedis, but there's a basket that is 100 cedis, and the woman was trying to convince me that 2 of the container is 1 basket, so instead of 140 I should pay 100 Ghana cedis. So I was asking her, I said, if 2 of that is 1 basket and you're selling it at 100 cedis, why don't you think you put buyers off when you say 70 cedis? Why don't you just say it 50 cedis and people will buy? But when you the other day Kwame was here telling me about tomatoes. You see, some of the sellers too, the way they treat the Ghanaians is too bad. They want to harvest everything in one thing. You see, Kwame was saying that the other day he was going to buy tomato. He asked the full box how much. That's 700 Ghana. He said, then I want half. And you can imagine the half.
350.
You can imagine the half. It's like this. So, me like this, you see Atomic Junction, where the police station is, when you come, women sell there. And I've been engaging there for more than 15 years. I will name them, if you are married, I'll call you Jesus Mommy. And so too, they play with me. So I was telling them the other day that perishable goods, if you buy them from the market, sell them in such a way that you get even the little that you get. Because tomatoes, you put, it's not like onions. 2-3 days, as the accounts is important, and then they'll give you prices that will not even reach you. So at times, we engage the market women. Some of them can explain to you the reasons why, and some of us are educating them. So for me, the bottom line is, what can the government do to salvage what we are facing now? That is the drought. That is the drought. And then we are talking about extension officers to go and I think when we were growing up, my father was a contractor, but a farmer at the same time. You could see the harvest that they bring in the house. You wonder, different varieties of rice. But now, Ghanaians perfume rice. And I wonder why we have, our taste has changed. And that is all adding to the challenges that we are facing as a country, because we don't produce those rice here. We are enriching other economies where maybe this rice and maize are about 20 years in their warehouses. They will just ship it, because Africa, and for the matter Ghana, is like a dumping ground. Anything we'll just eat. You understand? So OHEMAA, I will call on the Agri Minister to be up and doing. The promises shouldn't just be on paper, and they should make sure the support goes to the right people. The right people. And then we have a Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture. They should take it as their projects to also make sure that it is done. Not to be saying that it will not happen, maybe because it's politics, because it's election. Let them get involved. Let the minister let them know. Those are the farmers that we are targeting. In Kranza we have 30, in Bolga we have 20. The distribution and the data, so that we'll know that in fact it went to the right people. If not, maybe you say, because I'm MPP, I should be giving the money, meanwhile I don't have a farm. We have seen in this country where people even want agriculture, how do they call it? But they didn't have proper funds. We know in this country. So I think moving forward, we should be, somebody will say we should fear God. We should do things that will inure to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. As Prof was saying, you know, in Nigeria, even though there were routes and other things, if you look at some of the states like Bauchi State and other thing, the governor in Borno State, because I'm on one or some of the platforms, you could see the support they are giving to the ordinary people because of the hardships in Nigeria. Even that they are doing for them, but people are still protesting. So what can be done to Ghanaians to cushion us so that we will not come on the street? In fact, OHEMAA, every day when I wake up in the morning, I say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah means thanks be to God, because in fact we are a blessed nation. Let's guide and guard the peace that we are enjoying as a country. And even no matter the challenges, Ghanaians, we see each other as sisters and brothers. But the government shouldn't also say that because Ghanaians we are patient enough, maybe they will not bring some interventions that will cushion us as citizens. So that's what I can say.
All right. Thank you, Haja. Well said by AGYEKUM. Let me move on to Lillian. Lillian, as a member of the ruling National New Patriotic Party, I can imagine the bombardment of these kind of displeasures and these kind of areas of conversation that you are facing. Tell us what your thoughts are on this very subject with regards to government's intention to compensate farmers or support them with these funds, and what can be the way forward, because we have less than 100 days to vote, and Ghana is hot, especially when you engage people. The kind of feedback you get with regards to voting, they don't even intend to vote anymore. Like, Ghanaians are fed up. But then on this very subject matter, what are your thoughts?
Right, thank you, OHEMAA. Yeah, indeed, it's unfortunate that we have some months to general election, and then we are experiencing this unfortunate crisis. You know, each year, each time has its own crisis, challenges that a country or a government faces. Yeah, and then with respect to the seemingly is a drought, we are zooming because of the trend of which it is happening in the northern sector or the northern part of the country. Yeah, so it has become challenging, and therefore governments through the Agric Minister or the Ministry of Food and Agriculture have come up with some interventions. Now, every fund is accounted, so you can't use government's funds just that, or in the name to please a political party or to please your members. There are records to that. Right. Now we have, so far they have created, MOFA have created a platform to collect data of the affected farmers. So OHEMAA, if you are not a farmer and your name is found there, definitely you are a colleague farmer will know that you are not a farmer. You know, let's be fair and very open, transparent with ourselves. If you are not, you are not. And this is not about money being shared or being given to a group of people. Even if you are to give money, how much money are you going to give at all to convince an individual to vote for you? And that is wrong. So we don't even stand that. And it's unfortunate that Prof, the NDC stand, they have that mindset. That
no,
is
it's not a mindset, that's the reality, because we've heard stories, we've seen the news, issues of corruption among other things, which inform our ideologies and some of the things that we opine, I mean, in terms of these kind of conversations. So I'm not holding brief for anyone, but for me, if you ask me, these are some of the, possible opinions that I would share.
So just as AGYEKUM was saying, and I support that, we have the Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture. You know, we talk about transparency. So government is there. We have the committee that have to also oversee the affairs of what the ministry is doing. So everything is open, very transparent, because issue about food security is serious.
Right.
And as a government, if you sit down not coming up with some interventions, it's going to worsen the case. Yes, of which, like I said, in our neighboring countries, they are all feeling the heat. So we need not to also compound with our issue here. We have to come up with a solution. Right? So government is doing its best to get the affected farmers in question so that they will be cared for. Again, issue about climate change, no one and no human can control it. Sometimes you might have excessive rainfall that can also distract the processes of agric. You see that. Likewise, when there is decline in rainfall, so you can see that there are a lot of challenges here. Yes, that really amount to droughts, something that is natural. You have no control over it. But definitely, as humans, we should have a way out. So the way out, just as we came in as a government, we came out with some initiative, the Planting for Food and Jobs, Rearing for Food and Jobs, Aquaculture for Food and Jobs, all the food and jobs lives, yes. Yes, like we have the cocoa, the national cocoa differential, all these initiatives really helped. But notwithstanding, government has an eye on the affected farmers, so that at least would have a very good and then stable food security.
Food and job, brothers and sisters that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
are they in place?
They are, but you know, it's phases. You know, OHEMAA, if you initiate a program, you have to evaluate. You do your assessment, evaluation, and then that evaluation will help you to come up with a possible or refined model. You see that? So government did this and still is in session. If you see that the Planting for Food and Jobs is in the next phase.
Right.
Right. Yes. So back to our issue with affected farmers. Yes, government has allocated some funds to be given to them. Yeah, and then I was picking up a few feed that I wanted us to also look at it with respect to ability to help to reduce food inflation is very key, right? And then what are some of the interventions that I think government can do? Yes, if government is able to identify the farmers, of which he has now, then we have to look at the possible ways for them to, we have to resource them to replant the seeds, you see that, and then possibly get them some fertilizers, and that will also help to cushion. You know, we talk about this afforestation, all these the practices of which we learned are very important. Now deforestation is taking over. We are degrading our lands here and there. We careless, and these are also amounting to the drought system, because if you don't take care, there's going to be food shortage. Now the land of which it should be fertile for us to cultivate and get the very good harvest, now the land we are degrading it. You see that? So definitely, as humans, our activities also affects the soil, of which is not going to help us in any way. So in as much as government is doing its best to make sure that we're able to sustain and then how to ensure food security, as a citizen also we have a role to play, and the role is what we have to do, the good things or the things we need to do to ensure that we need not to degrade the environment.
Right.
Degrade the environment. That is what I have to say.
Right. But what about the irrigation projects? Like, for instance, the Palugu, which became a subject on the news for quite some time, which it still is. What is happening to that? Because if the irrigation project or the irrigation interventions are in place, I don't think we'll be crying out in this period, because when you look at these parts of Ghana, they are the ones that supply us with food. The northern part of Ghana and they have 4 Bono regions. That's the food basket of Ghana. And so if these areas are crying in the in this period where there is drought, then
yes, so
we still raise our shoulders. Then
yes, so
we are in
like
trouble.
you said, yes, so we have to explain
because it has been stated there that this is a potentially catastrophic.
Yes, potentially.
That doesn't change the fact that it can happen.
There is
like
an adjective. Yes, there is an adjective to it. So potential. Okay, right. So meaning that if there is a measure, we would not even get there. Right. Yes. So with respect to the irrigation for Alugu, yes, feasibility studies were ongoing. Yes, government has in mind to really have the dam being built. But they have
so
to.
So the feasibility has lasted for 8 years.
Wait, I'm coming.
Okay.
You see, OHEMAA, yes, just as one, you do the feasibility studies, you have to get your funds. Funding too can be a problem.
But we went to the IMF.
Yes, it's true. But the IMF has one or other
and there's
areas,
been an allocation of funds for that particular project.
Yes, but it goes beyond. OHEMAA, you see, our London system, you see, a whole lot of issue comes up. Yes, sometimes behind the scenes. But the point is, still government has that in mind. And that is what we are also calling for, the expansion of the irrigation system. Because if we have that expansion, definitely these challenges of which rainfall or not getting water scarcity will be in the minimal. Yes, so government has in mind, definitely. And then for sure, things will work out well for us. Yes, so for the dam, yes, this, as I said, we did the feasibility studies waiting for funding, and now funds are in. So definitely it will be. It's not about vote buying. At the end of the day, as a development communicator, I'm looking at what is going to benefit us as citizens. So not on the political score, because after you get it, what next? Have you impacted positively in the lives of people? That's what we have to look at. So all what the political parties we are all preaching is to get opportunity to make positive impact. Yes. So I believe that my government is still in it and looking at the possible ways to make sure that we ensure food security, food inflation is on the low side. Even now, it can still, and Ghana, we have this seasonal harvest. At some point in time, some foodstuffs are of scarcity because they are not in abundance, and therefore we have to get export some. Is it import some? In the country. So looking at all these instances, yes, the ministry has looking at it, food agriculture. They've taken time to look at all these challenges, and then they are also advocating moving forward to also liaise with the meteorological authority because they know they are best with the weather conditions. So if they know that this time or the weather has changed and therefore we have to go into for these crops to help us, why not? So I think it's a good call, and we have to support government. And I believe that the leadership of Ministry of Food and Agriculture with the Select Committee in Agriculture, they're all going to work together. Government is going to work together to ensure transparency and to bring and boost the confidence that Ghanaians also are expecting and make the lives of our farmers also well catered for.
Right, thank you very much, Lillian. Good submission there. Now, our viewers also have their take on our discussion. So let me read some messages coming through. This one says, hello, good morning, panelists. God gave Nana to Ghanaians, but the man has decided to go his own way. Look, one village, one dam was a panacea to this calamity, but they decided to spend the money, and now look at what has happened. Okay, let's do more messages. Good morning to you all. The media personalities in this country are part of Ghana's problems. Wow. They were the MPP's mouthpiece of the then opposition NPP, and now they are still doing their bidding for the super incompetent Baumia. Are the media personalities supporters or citizens? Our water bodies are getting waste, and the President Akufo-Addo refused to put his presidency on the line as he promised, but no media personality is challenging him for that. And if it was to be the former President Mahama, just imagine what will happen in this country. From Amos Asin Fosu. All right. This one says, good morning. Please tell the young lady to stop playing politics and talk sense. Recently, we all heard in the news how a whole DCMC has been sharing fertilizers that is meant for the whole district to only MPP members, even though some members of those beneficiaries are not farmers. Corruption has become drinking water for the NPP. Miles from DC. Okay. Please, we all know what happened to the COVID-19 funds in 2020 in an election year. Until date, no proper accountability. This government takes decision without thinking through. In 1983, there was drought. Can we learn from how it was handled? Okay, the farming season is almost over in the north. It's over.
No, I'm not saying it's over. That was handled. I remember I was in secondary school. They brought us some cheese that
in 1983
in a can like that, you know.
Cheese balls.
Yeah, it was like not cheese balls, cheese itself.
Oh, actual cheese.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, hey.
Wow. Was it donated by any international
How will I know?
organization?
In school. We would just queue and they'll give us one can each.
Interesting.
It was something, you know.
Interesting.
As when in 83, nobody should pray for that because the weather became something when you're going to spit it's yellow. Yes. I was a kid, I remember vividly. Yes.
We pray we do not experience that
and
ever,
the weather
ever.
will be, this is not drought. Hey, 83.
All right, let's move on. Since farming season is almost over in the north, when are farmers going to plant and harvest? Also, are there irrigation dams all over the north? Poor decision and chop everywhere. Okay, says, good morning, OHEMAA. You're doing a great job and God bless you. Thank you. This is Ma Doris at Wesley Girls. Oh, that's actually my alma mater.
Oh, okay.
So one of my teachers is watching me. Proud moment. I'm going to call you Ma Doris. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you so much. This one is coming from Swalisu. Says, good morning. Please greet AGYEKUM for me. Swalisu Governor Tamale. Okay. NPP lady should not abuse our sensitivity this morning. Was the COVID-19 funds shared with transparency? Question mark. Give us a break. You people just want money to buy votes of poor farmers. Oh, NPP never again. Andy Agbogba Ashoman. Okay, Andy. Steve is saying, OHEMAA, Dr. Baumia told Ghanaians that the Poalugu Dam is one of the strategic projects executed by the NPP government. We have money for a big hole dug at the center of Accra, but no money for Poalugu. Visionless. Steven Kwabinya. Let me take this last one. Good morning, OHEMAA. It pains a lot to tell the NPP lady to stop lying. It's not the best. It's not the best. This one's coming from Uma from Nyohini. All right. Thank you so much. This is still the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television. Now, this is coming from Shekinah Herbal Clinic. And this message this morning from Dr. AGYEKUM. Dr. AGYEKUM is a healer in spiritual matters, also physical matters. And he's calling on you that if you have any issue at all, be it physical, be it spiritual, just locating Saturday and Sunday and Monday at Klagon on the Accra-Tema motorway near the Ashaman Underbridge. On Tuesday, Sogakope Ho Station. Also on Wednesday, Ho opposite KK House. On Thursday, Akachi Magaya Hotel. And on Friday, Agbozume at Tivuta. And you can reach him on 0244 941428. 0244 941428. This is Dr. AGYEKUM of Shekinah Herbal. So whatever your issue is, do well to reach out to Dr. AGYEKUM. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you to Mons Natural Mineral Water for always holding us down on the show. For bulk purchasing, you can call Mons Natural Mineral Water on 05 0599 904409 0599 904409. And the bottle is absolutely amazing, very cutesy, very demure, as they say. All right, let's move on to our next topic for conversation. And it has to do with the EC and the public outcry that the EC has been accused of several things. And one of the major things is that the EC is contributing to the democratic destabilization of this nation. AGYEKUM, let me know your thoughts on this.
Oh, you know,
do you share the opinion?
You know, as for me, I'm a supporter of state institutions, and I really support the EC. But that doesn't mean that the EC, if they are found wanting, we shouldn't say. You see, no less a person but Kofi Bento.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the track record of Kofi Bento. He's somebody.
For context, he's the vice president of Imani Africa.
Yeah. He speaks his mind, and then at times people even accuse him that he's an MPP person. We've read it, and the EC is seen as pro-NPP. So for him to come out and speak this way, it speaks volume. So I think the EC must be up and doing and listening to wise counseling. You know, when I say I support the EC, last week like this, there were some insults, Kwame didn't want to read it. But you know, that is what strengthened me as a person. When I'm criticized, that is where I have to look and see where I went wrong. But some of the criticism is not criticism, but insults. And you know, just the day before yesterday, somebody called me from one of the radio stations to comment on what the gender ministry said about the attack on women, especially women in politics. What I said to the lady was that I don't throw the first salvo. As women in politics, we have to be guided by the way we speak, what we say out there. If we don't speak well, a man can even shout on top of the room. Nobody will see it. But a woman, they will say, "Oh, look at the way this woman is talking." So at least we have to be very, very careful with the way we carry ourselves. And you know, this EC is chaired by my very good friend, my very good sister, Jim Mensah, and I knew Jim Mensah since the time of ACHIAA. Whether we like it or not, we will give her that credit every day. She was able to bring fielding parties on the table to broker peace. Because I remember from 1992, 96, you have a meeting where there is NDC and NPP, and then the meeting will close peacefully. But I think the ACHIAA played a very important role in bringing all political parties, not just NPP and NDC, to a round table for proper discussions. And even the ACHIAA were able to make inputs. If you look at the presidential transitional bill, ACHIAA were part of those who made it possible to come into fruition. Let me put it that way. But you see, if people are complaining about an institution, I think the institution too must have a listening ears to look at where they went wrong or what they are doing that people are not happy about. What I'm against is the kind of bastardization of the Electoral Commission. That one I'm not worried, because if you do certain utterances can sort of empower some hoodlums. We've seen it in this country where elections are declared. Some people can go to Electoral Commission and say they're going to take over. We've seen it in this country from both parties. So I think in order for our democracy to thrive, in order for us to have a peaceful election, in order for us to understand that voting or maybe being in a political party or supporting a political party is not a do or die affair. I've said it, and I always write it on my Facebook wall, that you shouldn't allow anybody to use you as a political
instrument,
this thing to destroy, a political tool for destruction. Why am I saying this? Most people, when they speak, they go and sit in their houses with their children and enjoy. And then innocent or ignorant people will go and face the bullets
and die because somebody wants to be president or somebody wants to be MP. But all this is happening because maybe people don't have trust in the system. So what can we do to have confidence in the system? In the system, this is the Electoral Commission that we are talking about. What can they do to let Ghanaians, and for that matter the whole world, to know that they are transparent, they are independent, and they will do their work as prescribed by law, not because they want to favor party A or party B. The other day I said it here that Afarijan made us to understand that, Dr. Afarijan, let me give him this, made us to understand that elections are won at the polling stations. Because if I registered, or maybe my party had 1,000 votes in a polling station, and then maybe before it gets to the Electoral Commission, they said it's 100, I should be able to challenge it with the pink sheet. But if we have a situation whereby we cannot even collate our pink sheets, it will be difficult to challenge results. So that is why we all have to be vigilant at our polling stations and make sure what we are signing on to. If it's written 2,000 in West, and then when it comes to figures, it's maybe 20,000, we should be able to detect. So I think all of us are stakeholders, all of us can participate in such a way that we have a peaceful election. All of us will make sure that when the EC are going wrong, we'll point to the shortcomings. But as for insults and bastardizing an institution like this, I'm not for it, because if it's anything at all, any government coming is accused, the EC is accused of being in bed with that government. Until and unless we change the constitution and we don't have a president who appoints electoral commissioners, police commanders, army commanders, and what have you, this is the constitution that we are all using. So we just have to make sure that we do the right thing. Maybe if a president appoints you doesn't mean that you are the surrogate, or you do things to satisfy that president or that administration, but rather you are doing it to leave a legacy that one day, when you are no more there, people will say, oh, this is what we are. That is why we as Nkrumahs are proud to be Nkrumahs, are proud to be associated with the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, because Dr. Kwame Nkrumah never dies. When we say that, people say, now Kwame Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah, but his ideas are still there. If these two political parties that took power from 1992 have learned from the way Nkrumah built Ghana in 9 years, even when he was a leader of government business in 1954, what he did for Mother Ghana, I think Ghana wouldn't have been where we are today, when we are struggling with Galamsey, struggling with our low road network, struggling with food insecurity. You see, OHEMAA, as a country, it has come to a time that I think we should stop thinking about this is this person, this is this person. If the person has the expertise and can help in such a way that Ghanaian, it will inure to the benefit of all of us, not because the person is CPP, MPP, or NDC. I think that is where we should be getting to now, because whether we like it or not, that is something of NDC and MPP. 32 or how many years of NDC, and still we are still struggling. So which means there must be something wrong. Some expertise are not being tapped because maybe they are not NDC or they are not MPP. And you cannot run a nation like this. The other day I was talking about our late Dr. Wood, who wrote a very good book. That book, if you read it, OHEMAA, it has almost 60 to 70% solution to Ghana's problem when it comes to water, when it comes to electricity. Because that book was written by an Nkrumahist, so nobody even bothers to even read that book. Even the books Dr. Nkrumah wrote, all the books, read it, you have it here. Even there's a library, somebody can even come and borrow one and read it. You see the wisdom in all the writings of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. If Dr. Kwame Nkrumah used, let's even say from 1957 to 1966 that he was overthrown, look at his handiwork. from Bogatanga to Elibo. If his factories, they are there. And he did it in such a way that no factory goes waste. All these agitations, you're talking about electrical, but I'm bringing this dimension because agitations are there because people don't have work to do. Maybe they can't make ends meet. So politicians can use them to go and cause mayhem. That the Bible said that the devil's finds work for the idle hands. Is that the correct? Yeah. Because I don't want to quote the Bible and it will be like some.
No, you're paraphrasing, which is fine.
Yeah, you see. So if it's anything at all, I think we should be up and doing. We should be responsible in the way we speak. It is only in Ghana that somebody who can insult is described as the man of the moment or the woman of the moment. It's only in Ghana, and I'm seeing it, and I get worried that maybe if you are watching television with your children, then search out all trances. Some of them, even I have a 7-year-old. There are certain people if they are on TV, sometimes we won't watch this one. 7 years. So I think the Electoral Commission, if no less a person but Kofi Bento, which is seen as pro-NPP, and your institution being seen as NPP has come out to say this, I think you have to sit up. You have to sit up. This is not from a CPP person, or from an NDC person, or from PNC person, or any other person. It's somebody who has endorsed the flag bearer of the NPP. So they have to sit up. My good friend, my good sister, Jim Mensah, I always pray for her because she's somebody that I like. Her institution, supported by Bosman,
yeah,
Dr. Bosman, and then Tete, Mr. Tete, who has been in the Electoral Commission for a very long time. I think they should up their game and allow transparency to lead them in such a way that Ghanaians will have confidence. At the end of the day, 7th December. You see, it's not about doing that. When we elect, the person will be sworn in, and that's the president of Ghana. And everything will continue. That doesn't mean that Ghana will come to a standstill because somebody will not win an election. And anytime I get the opportunity, I talk to my people, especially my people. We've been turned into handbags. When you are not going to the market or going for some dinner, or then you don't take your handbag. You know that? So we shouldn't allow ourselves to be turned into handbag or host. If you're not going to the farm, you'll not remember you. Understand? Make sure you educate yourself and understand the dynamics of politics. The other day, in a mosque, sorry to say this on national television, 2 groups, they were fighting, arguing. After a Friday mosque, the imam had to come and say that, please, we don't do this in the mosque, so go out. And they wanted my intervention. Ajana said, no, I'm not interested. Because one said to them, said, if you rig this election, he used a word, I said, hey. So when they all cooled down, we went out and I asked them, when this and this party wins, can you be an MCE? Can you be a DCE? You not even get an employment as a cleaner in anybody's office. So why do you think you should kill yourself because somebody wants to be president? Me, I'm from your place, Kumbungu. If I organize you, that you should go and cause mayhem, tell me to call my son, Manano, the lawyer, or my daughter, Abida, or Omi to go and do that because you will not do it. And I think they thought about it, and it went dead silent, the argument. Because that is what we should be putting in people's head. Because I'm not sure if there's any problem. They will go to Airport Residential, Jolo, or Abeling to bring people. It is my community that they will go to. But my community too, I think we should stop that and educate ourselves and also take positions that if a government comes, we also take a position, but not be a group of people who will be used only during elections. So I think the EC, we don't want a situation whereby people will go and pickets or maybe go with their clubs and say they are going to attack the EC because of certain results that they are not happy with.
Right.
But the most important thing is that let's guide and guard our results at the polling station.
Right. Very well said, ACHIAA. Thank you so much. Now, let me come to you, Lillian. ACHIAA has made certain assertions with all and she categorically stated that she believes in the EC and that some of these utterances incite, violence. They create a loophole for violent people, hoodlums, to, cause mayhem. Now, what is your stance on this? And looking at the fact that we've seen in the news, BVDs, we can't find them, ghost names in our voter registry, among other things. Even the recent provisional voter register, it has problems. So when these kind of problems arise, don't you think that will be the immediate reaction of Ghanaians, that the EC is a threat to our democracy?
Right. Thank you, OHEMAA. Yes, just as you said, the EC is becoming too many. I mean, his issues on the news is becoming too many. And as stakeholders, we are all interested in the duties of the Electoral Commission. Yes, but to what Kofi Bento referred, I wanted to get a story. Yes, but he was commenting on the decision of the EC going ahead to auction some equipment.
Right, let me give you like the actual words or wording of what he said. He said the structure on which the Electoral Commission is based is making it too autocratic, to impervious to good advice.
Not just the auction.
Right.
Yes.
But like the holistic,
the composition of the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
So it's mandated by the Constitution, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
So,
a constitutional
provision. So they have that mandate, and because of it's based on the Constitution, the mandate giving them to really perform as the Electoral Commission. Yes, but I think their issue is becoming too many. It doesn't actually bring some confidence in all of us. You see, and especially in election year, where all political parties campaigning, investing hugely, and to make sure that they get the nod to serve. And then you being the referee, if you are not playing the cards very well, it's not going to help in anybody's interest. Yeah, so I think the EC must up this game. Yes, it must up its game. And if there are challenges that you are facing, that's why you have the IPAC. You call the political parties. Let us know the issue and then see how best we can all come in and provide some possible solutions to make the work very simple and easy for you. Because an EC can't take an entrenched position, just as you have the mandate supported by the Constitution. It is the people's will that you are riding on. So you need not to take an entrenched position, and it's like whatever the citizenry are saying, you're not going to heed to that, and that is not going to help us. When it comes to election, it's very sensitive. My worry is we've experienced political instability around our territories, beyond and around. It's not in good taste. Though a lot also look up to us as Ghana because we've been able to model our democracy. Others also come to really learn from us. But the position of the EC is becoming too many. You see that? If you have an issue, engage IPAC, and that's why we are here. Call us, let us know the issue, and let us try issues out, come up with possible solution, then we'll move on, than to take that entrance position. Because getting to three and some few days
less
than
election, 100 days.
Yes, it's not in good taste, and we don't really want any problem. That's what I say. From their voters register, a whole lot of issues have come up, and then I'm not a spokesperson for EC, but as a stakeholder in this election, the EC must set up and do what is needful so that all of us at the end of December 7th, whoever is to be declared as a winner, all the participants, all the stakeholders will be satisfied.
It should be clear.
Yes, it should be clear, yes. Being transparent, and they will know that, then you deserve it. Why not? They will move on as a country. Yes, so that's what I can say. So the commission has to set up. Yeah, the commission has to set up and bring some kind of public confidence You see, because the more your name is in the news and is always giving a negative signal, it doesn't serve well. You know, it doesn't really bring the confidence, the trust we have in the EC. Maybe you have a genuine reason of what you are doing, but you should come out and engage us. Absolutely. You see that? And when we are convinced that, oh, the EC is doing this, it's because of A, B, C, D, everybody's clear, then we move on. Then maybe you take an entrenched position, you do this trying to be authoritative, you know, it doesn't really augur well for all of us. Yes, we want a peaceful election, and therefore they are our referees, so they have to do the needful and really bring the confidence we have and the trust we have in the EC back.
Okay, so Lillian has made a point. Thank you, Lillian. Let me move to our viewers who are sending in their messages. Says, good morning, Mrs. OHEMAA. I'm OHEMAA, or Miss AGYEKUM. You are doing a good job. Keep it up. Thank you. Please, why not IGP inviting Honorable Sedun Ketia, querying and prosecuting him for the statement he made over the weekend? How can a whole chairman make that statement that can tarnish the image of our country, Ghana? From day one that I followed him, he hasn't talked about what can bring peace to our incoming election. Ask him why he's doing that for me. Okay. Nana Ajare from Manso. This one says, good morning. What is ACHIAA saying? Was she not in this country during the 2016-2020 elections? Maybe she wasn't... I think we should refrain from the harsh words. Just as she has said, you know, all these things they are not cool. Are they? They are not cool. And when the MPP members, including the current sleeping president and his cronies, raining insults on Charlotte Osei, to ACHIAA, Charlotte Osei deserves those insults because she is not human. She's not human.
Well, then maybe the person didn't listen when Charlotte Osei were defending her. As for woman insulting women, I'm not for it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, not just my CPP people, MPP, NDC. When the NDC regional women's organizer was attacked, I came here to condemn the way the regional chairman attacked her. We are for women, not just for...
absolutely. I think women are also... We play an important role when it comes to governance.
Absolutely.
And so if a woman is playing her role, has been put in some sort of position to act, I think
I remember
the critics should be very
when
constructive.
Charlotte case came, you know, there were two women. One of her deputies.
Yeah.
And I said they should have discussed the thing within them, because it was alleged that it was Charlotte who reported her deputy, if you remember that time. I said they should have, as women, two women in a leading organization, like that, they should have settled it. It wouldn't have come out in a public domain like this, because what I don't want is men saying women are our own enemies.
Right.
I remember what I said.
Right.
I have a very good retentive memory at this age.
We have messages coming through. Let me read these once and we are out of here. Good morning. We are leaving this country into the hands of the EC. Should anything happen, we shall not forgive Jane Mensah. Okay. Good morning to you and your panelists. Tell ACHIAA that I disagree with her, that she has confidence in the EC. I asked her if she was aware of the missing BVR machines. What is her take on that?
They're just commenting, they don't listen.
Foyon from ACHIAA. Okay, let me take two more and that'll be it for this morning. This one says, leadership is about service, not status. True leaders understand that their role is to serve and support others, not to wield power over them. Opportunities can be cyclical and roles can reverse. And today's laborer could be tomorrow's master. So our leaders today should be careful. Power is not permanent and it can change at any time. Thank you, James K.
That
Saba.
reminds me, yesterday somebody in that was I was a laborer in CPP office. The person didn't even know me. So if I'm a laborer, I'll be able to rise up to an acting chairman. That's a plus.
It's what it is.
Yes, it is. You know.
Let me take this final one. It says, OHEMAA, please kindly tell ACHIAA what she alone refers to as bastardization of the Electoral Commission, and who is doing that? Okay, I think she made her point clear. But thank you for sending in your messages. This has been the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television. My name is OHEMAA AGYEKUM, and I sat in for Kwame Osudanso Esquire. Let me use this opportunity to take final words. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Haji, I'll cool your temper now.
My final words go straight to the Convention People's Party. Tomorrow we are electing our flag bearer. We have 16 polling stations. We're supposed to have 17, but Greater Accra, we are doing it in the office, the national headquarters. And all the centers in the regions, leave your house early and go and cast your vote. Because there are some rumors out there that the elections are not coming on. It's not true. As the member of IC, member of the vetting committee, I can state on authority that tomorrow it is happening. All kind courtesy of good leadership of Wing Commander Sogojo, retired. And he's able, independent committee, the vetting committee, Congress committee. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, especially the Congress committee chairman, Bamohene Nana Riku. He's done a yeoman's job with his team, Dockers, Agbenya, all of them. They did very well. I think CPP needs to applaud them, but not to condemn them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hajiya. Lillian, your final words.
Yes, I think
it is well.
Sure, I wish you well. Yes, my final words is it's very crucial to come up with both solutions. And that is why His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is engaging all of us for us to give him the mandate to provide the solutions, and then for us as country to really be very well and do on with that day-to-day activity. So please, when December 7th approaches, let's all remember and cast our vote for the new patriotic party. Get both solutions. And DNB also means business, and therefore we're going to work and make sure that our country moves forward. Thank you.
Hajiya, the MPP says they want to upgrade the country. The NDC says they want to reset the country. What is the CPP saying?
Oh, we are going to stop the MPP from, we are going to approve the MPP and stop NDC from coming.
Seriously,
there's something happening too. In the banks. Yesterday, can somebody just call you and say, I'm calling from so-and-so bank. Can we discuss the balance in your account? Are you ready? I said to the person, I'll come to the bank myself. So I think it's a warning to people. They can empty your
Thank you,
account.
Hajiya, for bringing this to our notice. Beware of fraudulent men, because people are hungry in this country and they are finding very tricky and to an extent smart ways to extort monies and put people at a disadvantage. So if you're a victim or a potential victim to this, please be careful. Thank you so much. My name is OHEMAA AGYEKUM. Tomorrow we'll see you on the newspaper review segment.